I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting of the Planning Commission to order. Our first order of business is roll call.
Chair Wilson.
Present.
Vice Chair Kurth.
Here.
Commissioner Huber.
Here.
Commissioner Porter. Here. Commissioner Dew. Thank you.
All right, if you would please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance led by Commissioner Kurth and Commissioner Dew.
Bow your heads as we pray. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to meet here. Bless this meeting so that the decisions that are made are in the best interest of this city.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our first order of business is the approval of minutes from our June 8th, 2016 meeting.
So move.
Second. So I have a motion by Commissioner Dew, a second by Commissioner Porter to approve the minutes of June 8th. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yes, I was absent.
You're recused from the vote. Thank you.
All right, as a matter of housekeeping, if you wish to speak to any item before the Planning Commission this evening, if you would please fill out a white card and give it to the clerk, I would appreciate it. All right, moving on to agenda item number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Agenda item number 1 is PLN 16-11. It's a site plan and a conditional use permit to allow for the construction of a new 60-foot tall wireless communication facility, a cell tower, disguised as a church tower with an environmental exemption. The location is 13230 Elevado Road. It's also known as the Holy Innocents Church, near the intersection of Luna Road and Elevado, the southwest corner. The project has been conditioned for approval. If you remember, in 2014, this Planning Commission approved the very similar project, or actually almost the identical project back then. We went through the conditions, reconditioned the project, only modified 2 conditions. Turns out those are the only 2 conditions that the applicant has an issue with. So on the resolution for planning condition number 6, staff was asking for a landscape planner to be located between the block wall which surrounds the tower and the sidewalk that you walk into the church at. The issue that the applicant's having is that that would require them to then go back through all of their federal approvals again. Staff's open on that. It's up to the commission. The tower itself is located at the rear of the church. Has not real visibility from Elevado Road or Luna Road. However, it would be 60% of the parking for the church is in the rear of the building, so it would be visible to their parishioners as they're walking into the church. That's why we changed that condition or added to that condition requiring that. So that one, I believe the applicant would like to speak on that one, and again, that's the Planning Commission's desire. And condition number 17, we have worked with the engineering department and would like to strike the language "where missing along Elevado Road" from condition number 17. With that, staff's available if you have any questions.
Good, thank you. I'll go ahead and open up public comment for agenda item number 1. Anyone wishing to speak to this item? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close public comment unless, oh, okay. Al Martini?
Hi, good evening. My name is Chris Colton. I represent the applicant.
Okay, Chris.
Different commissions do it differently. I didn't know if you want me to have any comments during public comments or you have a separate section afterwards.
Oh, this would be your opportunity.
Great.
Yep.
I'm from Spectrum Services. I represent the applicant TowerCom and Verizon Wireless. My address is 4405 East Airport Drive, Ontario, California, 91761. As Chris said, the applicant has reviewed the draft COAs and does agree with them, with the exception, like he mentioned, of items 6 and 17. 17, I think we had an agreement with the language that was strike, so as that is modified, TowerCom does agree with that language. Item number 6, as Chris mentioned, the site cannot be seen from the public right-of-way, and the church directed us towards that particular location, so that's why we located it adjacent to the sidewalk. Right now it is 8 inches away from the sidewalk based on their request, and also this was the previously approved location. So with the exception of those 2 items, TowerCom has reviewed this condition of approval and accepts the conditions of approval as written. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Chris. Are there any questions? Just to clarify a little more on the, so it would item number 6 would require additional, or to go through the FCC approval process again in regards to just the design guideline, or how does that, if you could clarify for me, please.
Absolutely, so good question. As part of our development, we have to go through federal and state environmental and regulatory procedures, notice local tribes, cultural reports, etc. And as a result of moving the block wall in the entire facility 5 feet to the east, we would have to renotice the tribes and refile the application, and that would be the delay.
Got it. Okay. Any additional questions?
In regards to what we're just speaking about for the landscaping requirement, do we know which elevation that affects in our drawings in the package?
So to answer your question, Commissioner, you would just imagine the entire block wall site, the 20 by 36, and you would just shift it 5 feet to the east or towards the church building.
Would be the west elevation.
The west elevation would be affected.
That would be the one we're looking at that would ultimately be shifted.
Right.
That's the one with doors on it?
You can see in the other elevations the landscaping shown on that. There is no landscaping in front of the west elevation. There are 2 gates there already, but you would have the ability, if it were to move, you would have the ability to put landscaping in between those gates or on the sides of those gates as well. So
Right now there's no width at all from the curb to the wall of the building?
there's a sidewalk, so the sidewalk to get into the church runs there. The block wall would be right against it.
Any additional questions?
Thank you, Commissioners. We appreciate your consideration.
Great, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak to this item? Oh, I'm sorry, Al?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Please, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. I'm Al Martini. Address is 37 Agate, Irvine, California. I coordinate the cell tower process for the Diocese of San Bernardino, for the parish, work with the cell consultant, Chris, and then the cell carrier as well, so coordinating this process for the diocese and the parish. We go through a strenuous approval process. We have meetings with the parish and finance councils. We open up a congregation-wide town hall meeting, and once it's approved there, we go on to the Diocesan Building Committee. This is hopefully third time is a charm. Prior to 2014, when AT&T was approved, I think I have to go back to 2010 or maybe earlier, T-Mobile was approved for the exact location, the exact tower design, maybe some minor changes, but it's really the location that has been the same for the prior 2 approvals. And so once that's done, then we get to here. So hopefully third time's a charm. So we would just recommend that the change can go back to where it originally was proposed, so it doesn't cause either further delay or cost for the cell tower company. It is a very expensive project, and I know Father Pat would be anxious to get it moving forward, and appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak to this item? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close public comment and bring it back to the commission.
I was just curious, quick question for staff. When this was approved last time in 2014, was it approved this way?
Yes.
Exactly like this?
Yes.
Changes to that. Okay, thanks. The way that's
presented to us this plan right now with the
No.
Without
Yeah, the plans show it without it. The planner conditioned it to move their proposal back 5 feet to provide a landscape.
Mr. Chairman, if this is towards the back of the building, it seems to me that a little less landscaping wouldn't make that big of a difference. You know, they probably have landscaping galore in the front, and it looks really nice to me.
I'm in agreement. Well, then I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to find that the project is categorically exempt per CEQA section 15303, new construction or conversion of small structures, and adopt resolution P-16-021 approving the conditional use permit portion of case PLN 16-00011, and adopt resolution P-16-020 approving the site plan portion of case PLN 16-00011 to remove condition number 6 and strike the language in item number 17 as discussed, and that I believe is right.
I have a motion by Chair Wilson, a second by Commissioner Huber, to approve case PLN 16-00011 with the resolution 16-020 striking condition number 6 and revising the language in condition number 17 to strike the language "we're missing along Elevado Road." All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That has been approved.
Great. Congratulations. All right. Agenda item number 2.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 2 is a request for a continuance of PLN 15-35. Staff would recommend that you offer the option to continue the open public hearing, ask if anyone's available, anyone here to speak on that item, and then continue the item.
Questions? All right, I'll go ahead and open up agenda item number 2. Is there anyone wishing to speak to agenda item number 2? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close public comment and make a recommendation to continue this item to an undetermined date.
So we have a motion by Chair Wilson and a second by Commissioner Dew to...
Can I hold you right there?
Sure.
Actually, a continuance is meant to be to a date specific. When it's not to a date specific, it's tabling the item. So
All right.
we would like to change the recommendation to table the item.
Table the, okay. Going to make a recommendation to table the item.
So we have a motion by Chair Wilson to table this item to a date to be determined. A second by Commissioner Dew. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That will be tabled to a date yet to be determined.
All right, moving on to agenda item number 3.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. Agenda item number 3 is a site plan to allow for the development of a phased medical office campus, which consists of 2 buildings that range in size from approximately 50,000 to 60,000 square feet. This project is located approximately at the southwest corner of Smoke Tree Road and Amargosa Road, just south of the proposed St. Mary's Medical Campus. The proposal meets all requirements of Title 16 as proposed, including parking, circulation, building design. The building design is a contemporary design with varying roof and wall planes. It's a unique design and good for the area and will complement future development in the area very well. It also has a skyway that connects the 2 buildings over the main entry point, which is another unique feature that will be not seen in any other buildings that I'm aware of in the city. There was one issue with one condition by the applicant regarding condition 8 of the site plan. Staff has remedied that and spoke with the applicant regarding it to allow for alternative materials rather than the specific as it's written. And as proposed, even with that change, the proposal would still meet the commercial design guidelines. That being said, staff recommends approval of the proposal as conditioned with the noted modification in condition number 8.
Very good. Any questions? I'll go ahead and open up public comment for agenda item number 3. Anyone wishing to speak to this item? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close this item.
Chairman Wilson, I'll adopt the mitigated negative declaration for the project with the mitigation monitoring and reporting.
Is that with the?
Modification.
I have a motion by Commissioner Huber, a second by Commissioner Dew to approve this item with a revision to the resolution P-16-017 for condition number 8, revision as proposed by the planner. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The project has been approved with those changes.
All right. In compliance with the Brown Act, it is necessary for the Planning Commission to make available time for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on items of interest that fall within the Planning Commission's subject matter jurisdiction. Please limit the length of your comments to 3 minutes. I do have a card from Steve and Ruth Smith. Hi, good evening.
Our request tonight would be that we would be put on the agenda to be able to have our case heard at your next meeting. I understand that's the procedure, that you really wouldn't want to have our case brought up tonight without previous discussion. So that's our request. We're requesting a variance. What do we call it, variance?
Mr. Chairman, I can take this.
Pardon me?
Hi, Ruth. Chris Borchert. We spoke on the phone.
Chris.
Yes, I was planning on giving you a call back, probably tomorrow. I have done a lot of background research on the property to try and figure this out. This is regarding a property in Old Town on Verde Street, catty corner from the Center Street Park, and the use of their property. It used to be a county storage yard, so we're going to try and figure out what applications, if any, need to be done, what can be done on the property. But we would like to come out and visit the property, possibly tomorrow, if that would be okay.
Sounds good.
So, yeah, maybe right after this meeting we can talk, because we're almost done right now, but
All right.
we can set up a time tomorrow to
Chris.
visit.
All right.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak to the Planning Commission?
Just for your, Paul Smith used to be a council member here many years ago.
Oh, okay.
I remember him.
Very nice. Well, thank you. All right, I'll go ahead and close public comment. And then agenda item number 4 is the school districts, Asperia School District's adoption of alternate school facility fees. It's more of a communication for the commission. Any discussion on this? All right, done. And we'll go ahead and move on to presentation of reports by commission members. Commissioner Porter?
I just had one comment that there's a vacant lot that on the 9th Fairway that belongs to the city that has had junk on it for the last since I've lived there practically. And I was wondering if somebody would take a look at it. It's right south of the apartments, and there's at least 3 telephone poles, and then there's some old cement, and now people are starting to dump their garbage on there, and sticks and, things from the yards. If you just look at it, and I know that they came out and they did some work on it, and that was really much appreciated, but it
Okay.
is city property.
Yeah, I know what property you're referring to, so yeah, we can
Okay.
make that.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Kurth?
Commissioner Dew?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I would like to express my regrets to the life for protecting the constitutional right for people to protest and life and bird in Florida. Happen every time I go to the post office. Well, not every time, but I often see the flag flying at half-mast.
I agree. Commissioner Huber? And I have nothing, so I will go ahead and conclude this meeting to our next meeting, adjourn this meeting to our, September 10th, 2016, I believe?
We may have a
Oh, wait.
meeting in August.
Yeah, let's adjourn
So
to
you
August
just
and we'll
adjourn.
see what happens.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll adjourn this to our next meeting. To be notified. All right, so you still got the record, Paula.